Good morning, guys. Doing this a little bit earlier today. I've been doing these in the afternoon usually, but have a job phone interview later this afternoon, so wanted to go ahead and get this in, get this up. Just a little fun. We're gonna do appears to be 12 packs of 1990 Donruss. The if you saw yesterday, I had bought a 5 boxes of junk wax from Busted Wax, and they had to take one of the boxes out, break it down to get it into the priority mailbox, and he filled it in with a few extra packs, and these were some of them. So I'm sure we know there's a reason that these were chosen to be sent. We're not going to get rich off of 1990 Donruss. Thought I was at the time. I was 11 years old and thought I was never gonna have to work, but it doesn't always work out the way we want. So 12 packs, not much in there, obviously. Just for fun and nostalgia. It's junk wax. Who doesn't love that? Could get the giant size Diamond Kings. The other thing, I've seen a few people open these for random, just random breaks or whatever. There was these game pieces on the inside. I'm curious if anybody really remembers what they were. If they sent them in or anything like that. Let me know if you did anything like that and leave it in the comments. So, our puzzle was Carl Yastrzemski that year. I'm sure I had somewhere between 5 and 10 of those dang puzzles. Never put them together. Wish I had put them together, matted them up, just something different, but never did. So, let's see who we got here. George Canale, Bob McClure, the timeless Larry Anderson. Speaking of timeless, Doyle Alexander. Poor guy had a decent career and will always be known for the other guy in the John Smoltz trade. Mark Portugal, Diamond Kings Willie Randolph, Todd Worrell, who was definitely a stud closer there for a little while. 36 saves, led the league in 86, and that was his first full season. Look at that, through 5 seasons, a 2.64 ERA, not too shabby. Gary Milkey, Steve Finley, Greg Maddux. It's sad when a Greg Maddux, I believe he's not the last 300 winner, but definitely one of the best pitchers of my generation. This card's probably worth a dime. Oil Can Boyd, Rich Gedman, Dave Justice rookie, was obviously a stud, a rookie of the year, and that's probably a quarter card. Kevin Romine, Mike Pagliarulo, Wade Boggs, and Charlie Hayes. 1990, that would have been a pretty good pack, I believe. Today, it's just a pack. Love wax packs. I miss wax packs. So, we have a Diamond King on the back. Another puzzle piece, one per pack. Gene Larkin, Gerald Young. Ramon Martinez. Remember when we thought Ramon Martinez was going to be the thing and nobody really knew about his little brother Pedro? Good times. Chuck Krim, Kent Merker, rated rookie. Greg Briley, Brad Kaminsky, Tony Castillo, Kevin Mahat. Yeah, I feel like I must have just seen a break of these the other day because I remember somebody else trying to figure out how you say that. I guess it's Mahat. Jeff Parrott, Jesse Barfield, Ron Robinson, Mookie Wilson, Bert Behome Blyleven, Bo Allred, and Mike Bilecki, Diamond Kings. That would not have been the most desirable pack of Donruss cards in 1990 or now. We've got Puzzle, Dan Pasqua, Alan Anderson, Jack Armstrong. I think he started an All-Star game at some point. Cal Daniels, Jeff Hamilton, Don August, Jeff Blauser, John Kruk. I know where that card's going. That's going to my buddy Peter that collects Kruk and Strawberry cards. Mike Devereaux, Eric Davis MVP card. Those were, I guess, the equivalent of what we had as inserts in 1990. As you see, it's card number BC23, so it's not an actual part of the set. Mackie Sasser, Francisco Cabrera, who's known for one thing in baseball history, Tony Pena, Junior Felix, Dickie Thon, and Steve Olin. Quarter of the way through that. Hope you're enjoying the background music from 95.9 The Ranch in Fort Worth, Texas. Plays, which we refer to as Texas country, red dirt country. It's a little more like old school country than that stuff they call country that's on the radio now. What do we got here? We got another puzzle piece. The Brian Downing. This one is the corrected version. There is also a reverse negative where I think the whole thing is reversed. He's kind of looking the other way and the batter is on the other side. But this is the corrected version, so these must be out of a later print run. Bob Ojeda, Gerald Clark, Jeff King, the very long time Pittsburgh Pirate. Rex Hudler, Don Paul, Don Robinson, Alan Trammell, Stan Javier, Lance Johnson, Paul Ossenmacher, Terry Steinbach. So this is the first of the All-Star subset cards. So these also had, so this is the corrected version. These had, I don't recall if it was every player, but many of the players, it was an All-Star card, and it would say recent Major League performance, just like the back of this Jamie Navarro, instead of the All-Star game performance. So there was those errors. So Jamie Navarro, Eric Yelding, Mel Hall, Bob Nepper, and Brian Harvey. Harvey was a pretty good closer there for a handful of years in the league, I believe, for the Angels there. And then I think he was taken in the expansion draft by the Marlins. And I think he had a couple good years there, enough that they did not keep a guy named Trevor Hoffman. So he must have been doing something right. Carl Yastrzemski, puzzle piece. Frank Williams, Jeff Musselman, Don Slott, Joe McGrain, Roberto Alomar, Willie Frazier, Juan Augusto, Steve Lyons, Jim Deshaies, Kevin Mitchell, Diamond Kings. Probably a lot of people don't realize just how dominant that guy was there for a few years with the Giants, with Will Clark. Dude was a beast. John Costello, Pat Tabler, Bob Milacki, Vance Law, Mike Boddicker, and Ellis Burks. Just tear them. No need to be gentle with them. I'm not really going to hurt anything. Ooh, we got some wax stickage here. Got it off, but obviously the card ended up damaged. Thankfully, this wasn't a 1984 Don Mattingly Donruss or something like that. So, Tracy Jones. Puzzle. Mark Thurmond. Bobby Thigpen, who for a long time held the single-season saves record. There we got 34 and 34, and then I think in 90 he saved 59 games, I believe, was the total. Wally Backman, Vaughn Hayes MVP, the always popular Checklist, Ellis Burks, Diamond Kings, Darren Jackson, Tim Raines MVP, Greg Harris, Greg Cadaret, Lance McCullers, the father of the current Lance McCullers, Craig Lefferts, Ozzie Smith, All-Star, also says All-Star Performance, Corey Snyder, and Dave Stewart, Diamond King. Dave Stewart's one of those guys, man. When he went to the A's there, he was just dominant. But how much of that had to do with the team? If you look at his statistics before he got there, he was pretty much an also-ran and then just became absolutely dominant. Unfortunately, it's the Diamond King, so I don't have the statistics to show you. So, another puzzle. Jack Armstrong, Willie Randolph. So those two we've already gotten. Ron Oster, Ken Phelps, well-known, traded for Jay Buhner. That did not turn out as well for the Yankees. Mitch Williams, Oral Hershiser, Brian Holton, Rich Gedman, Dave Johnson, Bill Duran, Walt Weiss, Greg Cataray, Dickie Thon, Gene Larkin, Chris James, Tom Lawless, and Vince Coleman. So yeah, these, how many do we have in a pack? Like 12? 16 cards and the puzzle piece. It says 3 puzzle pieces, but it's 3 put onto 1 card. So yeah, so you were getting 17 items, and man, it takes a lot longer to open packs or boxes than it did in the 80s and 90s. Yastrzemski puzzle. Looks like we got the bottom middle piece. Rene Gonzalez, Kirby Puckett MVP, Frank Viola, Greg Brock, Mike Lacoste, Junior Felix, Steve Lake, Steve Olin, Edwin Nunez, Keith Miller, Andy Hawkins threw a no-hitter in this 1990 season, Chris Carpenter, Mark Parent, Johnny Ray, Larry Anderson again, Sweet Lou Whitaker, and a Neil Heaton. We got 4 to go, 2/3 of the way through. If you've struggled with me so far, I think you're going to make it to the end. A lot of cards. So, another puzzle piece. Another Kevin Mitchell Diamond King, Dan Quisenberry, Pat Tabler, Jim Traber, Louis Salazar, John Dobson, Rich Gedman, Eric the Red Davis, Marty Barrett, Mike Pagliarulo, Rick Cerrone, Alejandro Pena, Kent Herbeck, Alex Trevino, Ron Hasse, and Mark Knudsen. One of my dogs has just decided to come out from underneath the sofa. Apparently she's wondering who I am talking to out here, since it is just me. And she's giving me the eye because she knows that she's supposed to be outside, and she went and hid under the sofa. So, another puzzle piece. Dave Winfield, Ken Obergfell. Obergfell was one of my, in that group of my favorite players right when I got into baseball, because I was a Braves fan because of I was born in Birmingham. My family was in Birmingham. They were Braves fans. And there was just something about him. Granted, Dale Murphy was my favorite, but he was one of the others that I really liked. Gary the Kid Carter. Got a Wade Boggs All-Star Game performance. Bryn Smith. Kenny Rogers, who later threw a perfect game, I believe. It wasn't just a no-hitter, it was a perfect game. Brian Dubois. Yeah, that rated rookie didn't pan out. Joe Orsulak, Scott Sanderson, Alan Anderson, Norm Charlton, Cal Daniels, Rick Dempsey, second-year Gary Sheffield. Very, in my opinion, underrated player, underappreciated, pretty much forgotten. I'm sure there was some performance-enhancing stuff, but the dude could hit. There's no doubt about it. Those numbers were ridiculous. Gerald Perry and Todd Froworth. Why is Todd Froworth ringing a bell? I think he might have passed away a few years ago, which obviously would mean he was pretty young. Yeah, these cards are 28. These 28 years since these cards came out, but I think he passed away maybe a handful of years ago. But could be wrong. If he or his family or a friend are watching and I'm incorrect, I do apologize. But that name rings a bell for some reason. We got the Red Sox cap of Yaz, Terry Kennedy, Kent Anderson, Greg Olson, one of the 2 Greg Olsons. Don August again, Steve Finley again, Spike Owen, always loved that name. Just the name Spike, which was just funny because he was kind of a little guy, 5'10", 170. I always think of Spike maybe like from what's that movie, Little Giants. The big fullback was named Spike. Larry Walker rookie card, another underappreciated player, and unfortunately, because of overproduction, it's probably a quarter card. Joe Girardi, Dick Schofield, Francisco Cabrera, Gary Templeton, Mike Morgan, Kurt Wilkerson, Jeff Kunkel, Dave Magadan, Jeff Musselman, and Chuck Krem. So, none of my one pack to go, and we haven't seen either of my 2 favorites from this era, which were Will Clark and Dale Murphy. Haven't really pulled anything for any of my blogging friends that I send cards to either, so mildly disappointing, but you'll have that. Dennis Rasmussen, Walt Terrell, Bill Landrum, Don Robinson, another Gary Carter, Fernando with the glasses, Joe McGrain, Diamond Kings, Harold Baines, very underappreciated because he wasn't a power hitter, but had a lot of hits. I know he probably ended up over 2,500, just very consistent. Delino DeShields rated rookie, Mickey Tettleton, which probably would have been my third player after Murphy and Clark from that time. I even remember I caught and I tried to emulate his batting stance with the flat bat and all, and was not successful, or, I might not be doing this right now. A few more: Carlton Fisk, Shane Raleigh, Norm Charlton, Jose Gonzalez, Pedro Guerrero, All-Star Game, and we wrap it up with Glenn Braggs. So, just a little walk down memory lane, some of the ugliest cards in the history of trading cards, let's be honest. But, it was fun, it was different. I pulled a crucky for my buddy Peter of Baseball Every Night, if you're into blogs or you're not, but you want to check out his collection. He collects Cruck and Strawberry, and he's also on Twitter at PK Steinberg. That will be making its way to him. So, hope you enjoyed the quick look, the little walk down memory lane, and I will talk to you later on. Happy collecting.